Hello, my name is Melanie Armstrong and I work in the Education Data Division at the Department for Education. I'm here to talk to you about the importance of the post-16 data, which will be collected as part of the autumn school census. This is one of a series of videos related to the school census and should be watched in conjunction with the others. This slide lists the topic areas I'll be covering in the presentation. Post-16 information collected via the school census from secondary all through and alternative provision schools that have a sixth form. It is used to calculate post-16 funding allocations, performance measures, retention rates, and to assist Ofsted with success rates reviews. This slide lists the key data items collected via the school census, which are required to meet these requirements. The learning aims recorded on the census should provide a full history for an academic year and not just a snapshot of the position on census day. Therefore, any student for whom the school wishes to claim post-16 funding has or had an enrolment status of current or dual main and enrol in National Curriculum Year 12 or above at any point since the 1st of August of the previous academic year must be included on your return. Every course of study leading to any level of qualification that is funded for schools in England is allocated a qualification number and a subject classification code. The qualification number specifies the qualification offered, and the subject classification code identifies the subject covered. It is essential that the current qualification number is returned in the school census. A comprehensive list of qualification numbers is available via the QWS website. This site should be checked regularly to ensure schools have the latest version downloaded onto their MIS. Care should be taken that schools do not assign a qualification number where the approval end date has passed for newly started courses, unless they are retaking the course. In such case, the final assessment or examination must be taken before the certification end date. This is particularly important for students undertaking maths and English courses to comply with the condition of funding. If a student is recorded as taking an out-of-date qualification, this will not count and the student will shown as not complying with the condition of funding. Recording incorrect or out-of-date qualifications can negatively affect your funding. It is vital that schools record the start, planned and actual end date correctly, as this will determine whether the student's study programme period qualifies for funding purposes, and will also identify the cohort of students in the calculation of performance measures. Once the qualifying period has passed, the end date must not change. The actual end date is the date that the student has completed the learning activities, including assessments and examinations, or the date they withdrew or transferred from the learning activities. The learning aim status will reflect the current status of the learning aim. There are 4 options. Continuing, when the aim is not completed and studying is continuing. Completed, when the aim has been completed, irrespective of whether the aim has been achieved or not. Withdrawal, when a student ceases a qualification before it's complete without any consequent new replacement qualification being started. Transfer, when a student ceases studying one qualification early in order to start on a new qualification. The difference between a transfer and a withdrawal is especially important for performance purposes, as a transfer is not taken into account when calculating qualification success rates, but a withdrawal is. A withdrawal is treated as if the student has stopped studying for that qualification and may count negatively in both success and retention calculations. A learning aim withdrawal reason should be recorded on the census if the student has withdrawn from the learning activities leading to the learning aim following the 6-week qualifying period. The reason which most closely matches the reason for the student leaving the course is selected from the list of options. If more than one reason applies, the one which is considered to be the main driver for the withdrawal is selected. Unless the student has withdrawn from the learning aim prior to census day, the learning aim withdrawal reason is left blank. The department monitors non-completion of courses to calculate the completion and attainment accountability measures for tech levels and Level 2 vocational courses using this data. Students withdrawn from these courses to take up apprenticeship, traineeship or supported internship placements are excluded from the measure. Schools need to identify and record the substantive core learning aim for those students undertaking an ESFA funded vocational or mixed study programme. Where the student is following an academic programme, a core aim must not be recorded on the Census. For vocational programmes, the core aim is key in determining the programme cost weighting a student receives and whether they're counted as retained for funding purposes. Missing or incorrect core aims are likely to have a negative impact on funding. If a core aim is identified for an academic programme, it will likely have a negative impact on the retention, as the core aim will denote the programme as vocational, but with no vocational aim in the programme, the student may be counted as not retained. The planned hours returned on the Census are split into two categories and are recorded as qualification hours for planned learning hours and non-qualification hours for planned employability, enrichment and pastoral hours. Qualification hours are the time in a study programme that is spent towards the achievement of a qualification that is approved for teaching of 16 to 19-year-olds under Section 96 of the Learning and Skills Act 2000. Non-qualification hours are time that does not count towards the qualification. Include in this field all planned, timetabled hours included in the study programme that are not included in the qualification hours. The combination of both qualification hours and non-qualification hours must reflect the total planned hours for the academic year. If the student is on a study programme which spans more than 1 year, then these fields must be amended at the start of each year, with only the planned hours recorded for each separate year of data. Retakes and resits are not normally funded, and therefore it's important that the delivery hours are not included in the planned hours. However, where there are exceptional circumstances outside the control of the student or the school, such as a period of long-term sickness, then the retake delivery hours for individual students may be included in the planned hours field. Where a student has not yet achieved at least a grade 4 or C in English and or maths, retakes of these subjects can be included in the funded hours. Therefore, it's important that the delivery hours are included in the planned hours field. In the majority of cases, we expect planned hours to remain static once the qualifying period is passed, but there are circumstances where they can change. For an example, a student completing a traineeship and progressing to a study programme in the same year, or a student returning in year to a second study programme. Further details can be found in the rates and formula guidance on the gov.uk website. The teaching of approved English and Maths qualifications is a condition of funding for students undertaking study programmes who do not hold a 9 to 4 or A star to C in these subjects and are studying for 150 hours or more in the academic year. Students can only study programmes of less than 150 hours, are not required to study Maths and English qualifications. However, schools should include some Maths and English content in courses taken by such students to facilitate their learning where appropriate. The list of qualifications that meet the condition of funding will be maintained throughout the academic year on the Learning Aim Reference Service, also known as LARS. For further details regarding the condition of funding, please refer to the Condition of Funding backsheet and School Census tool on gov.uk. The link can be found on the further information slide at the end of this presentation. Schools must return whether the student has achieved GCSE 9 to 4 or A star to C or equivalent qualifications or not. This slide shows the 3 options to choose from. This data is used to determine whether a pupil generates Block 2 funding as part of the disadvantage element of the 16 to 19 funding formula. There are a small number of students who are not able to take GCSE or a stepping stone qualification, for example those with multiple and complex needs. These students can be exempt from studying qualifications. Students who have studied in a country that does not provide GCSE are also potentially exempt from the condition of funding, where the overseas qualification they hold are equivalent to a GCSE Grade 4 or C. On the school census, schools must record in the exemption field if the student has a learning disability which prevents them from studying the qualification. This will be recorded as code L. The student has a recognised overseas equivalent qualification. This will be recorded as code O. The student has met the GCSE condition of funding as they hold an approved equivalent UK qualification. This will be recorded as code U. And finally, if the student does not have an exemption, this will be recorded as code N. Linear A-levels were introduced in August 2015 for a number of subject areas with all external assessment at the end of the course. The AS was decoupled from the A-level, which means that the AS marks will not count towards the A-level. Learners do not need to enter for an AS level in order to pursue a subject to A-level. Where a learner is studying towards an A-level and is not intending to sit the AS level, the school should record the A-level for the first year with a learning aim planned end date reflecting the planned 2-year length of course. Where a learner is planning to enter for the AS as well as for the A-level, the school should record the AS level for the first year with the learning aim planned end date reflecting the planned 1-year length of the course and record the A-level in the following academic year, reflecting the planned year length of course. Where a learner is only planning to complete the AS level, the school should record the AS level as normal. Should the learner decide to go on to do the A-level as well, the A-level should be recorded in the following academic year, as in the above case. In all cases, providers should accurately record the learning aim that a learner is working towards, either as an AS or an A-level learning aim. Where a learner changes the AS or A-level learning aim that they are working towards or withdraws from the learning aim, this should be recorded in the usual way on the school census. No funding adjustments are required as the ESFA uses planned hours for the year to determine funding levels. A traineeship is a discrete study programme with specific learning aims which are required in order to qualify as a traineeship. Normally work experience and work preparation alongside maths if required and English if required. It should be noted while all traineeships can have these aims, not all of these aims will be a traineeship. A pupil could be participating in work preparation or work experience as part of a non-traineeship study programme, and there will be numerous students studying English and Maths who are not on a traineeship. The traineeship indicator will bring the data collected for Post 16 students from schools in line with that already collected from colleges via the individual learner record. It will be used to inform participation levels and allow the department to understand and monitor what is being delivered to young people as part of traineeships. Full details regarding traineeships can be found on the gov.uk website. The link is shown in the further information slide. The subcontracting partner, UKPRN, is recorded for all learning aims where the learning is subcontracted. The UK provider registration number is recorded against the learning aims that are subcontracted to the partner organisation. Subcontracting is defined as a provision delivered away from the main institution sites by a third-party organisation with whom the ESFA funded institute has made contractual arrangements to deliver education provision that will be paid for the ESFA funding. A school that is part of a consortium is not considered to be subcontracting with the other schools in the consortium. Post 16 funding allocations are based on the census data from individual schools, so returning accurate data is a key factor in ensuring that an accurate funding allocation. To assist schools in quality assuring their data and making more accurate census returns, the department has developed 3 Post 16 funding reports in Collect. The reports are based on the data submitted in your autumn census and are there to provide you in a data sense check-in, validation and quality assurance. Please note the categories and values shown in the report are indicative and will not necessarily directly match those in your 16 to 19 allocation. Guidance regarding these reports can be found on the school census page on the gov.uk website. The School Census Post-16 Interactive Guide is designed to help schools and academies understand how school census data is used to calculate post-16 funding and examine common errors and how they impact on the level of funding. We would strongly encourage schools to use this tool before they start building their autumn census data and before the submission deadline. The tool can be found on gov.uk website. The link is shown in the further information slide. This slide provides links which you may require before and during the collection. To find more information about how to submit your census data to us, including details about what data is collected for each termly census, and further information you'll be required to know can be found on gov.uk. Please take some time to read these documents as they help fulfil your statutory requirements and successfully complete an accurate return. In addition to the online documents, we also provide a data collection forum. The purpose of the forum is to provide a facility to allow customers to exchange ideas and good practice relating to specific data collection and related EDD systems. You will require a username and password to access the forum. If you do not have a username and password, or if you have any questions about the facility, please complete a service request form. I do hope you found this presentation helpful. Thank you.